question. This is my prediction side. Okay, let's play a game of predictions, okay? And I always love to play prediction game. It's good for, shooting the shit and conversation, right? So I think there's a handful of people that either ought to consider running 2028, and I think the timing would be 2028 is more important than 32, my opinion. And I know in the movie Young Rock, your first episode interview is 2032. We have President Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson here, and I don't know who's interviewing you, the Asian, whoever the other, what's his name, who's interviewing you.
Oh,
anyways.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody's interviewing you, and it's 2032. So I think 2028, these are my opinions, okay? I could be fully wrong, and I'll go take my loss at Vegas, okay? I think Mark Cuban is flirting with wanting to run 2028. I think he wants to be part of the trifecta community. And to me, the trifecta community is winning in media, Mark has, Shark Tank, however many years, wealth, sports, billionaire, he's won. He's only missing one thing to be a trifecta, and that's the political to win in politics. Like being a triathlete in Hollywood, singing, dancing, and acting, right?
Yes.
Like a JT, J-Lo, some of these guys. I put Jamie Dimon on that list because I think he's gradually stepping away from Chase, and I think Jamie could be one hell of a president if he chose to run. I got a few other guys. I think Vivek would be formidable in 2028 because some of the crowd would go to Vivek from the MAGA side. And I have you on that list, on the prediction side. And I'm asking this from you because would it be a wise choice to take 50-1 odds in Las Vegas for 2028? But no, listen, if it got to a point, would you entertain the idea if your fan base, if people came back and said, Rock, you got to do a lot of private conversations, why don't you do it? 2028 is the time. Would you entertain the thought and the idea?
I've been asked, and I feel like my honest answer is I have little ones at home. I'm a girl dad. And right now, the most important thing, and I've said this, is, and I will say that whether it's a poll that's come out that a lot of people would vote or a conversation like this, it really moves me. I mean, I was the kid who, I had $7 in my pocket in 1995, to this, the potential of this, or even the idea and the conceit of this. So it's really humbling, and I'm a patriot, like all of us are in this room. He's shifting. He's like, this guy's not answering my question. 50-1. I think that as of now, the most important thing is for me to, you have little ones too, is to be a daddy to my little girls. Truly. And I'm not, being savvy out of this answer.
But by the way, I don't know about, how many guys say it's probably 50-1 are good odds to take in Vegas? Who would say, all right, so I mean, that's what I received from this, but this last topic on this before we move on, because I want to tell you about what's the most, the one video of yours I've watched the most, and I think it's going to surprise you what video it is. I've watched it so many times, bro, it's not even funny. But let me finish the thought here. Do you sit there and think about, like, for example, if I'm your agent, I'm your manager. I'm not, Brad is. But if I'm your agent, I'm your manager. And by the way, Danny and I had a call. I freaking love Danny. I don't know if she told you about it.
Yes, she did.
Our call was sick.
Yes.
Like, I told her, I said, I'll get to that topic here in a minute. I don't want to digress, but she's a monster. She's something else. Of course, you know that. But to me, it was kind of interesting watching her. But if I was your agent, if I'm your manager, do I want you to run for office? Hell no. I lose that 10% on $100 million every year or whatever. I don't want to give that up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, no, hey, let's go 2032, maybe 36, bro. Wait till the kids are 18 years old, right? Like, there's a part of it. But if I'm like a guy that's an advisor and I'm sitting there, on the inside and we're having conversations, we're chopping it up. We don't have that kind of a relationship. We're just starting a relationship the last, 3-4 months that we've started. I probably would do a couple research, data. We just talked about data a few minutes ago. My step number one will be the following, and I think there's a way of doing this. I would run an analysis to see what percentage of your following lean right, lean center right, lean center, lean libertarian, lean center left, lean left left, like, you know, whatever. I'm not saying far left, I'm saying left, right? Of course, there's the likability factor and the fame factor. Everybody loved Trump before 2015. And then it's like, he's the worst human being in the history of mankind. And so he goes through that phase. I'd run that report. And I wonder if you think a bigger percentage of your audience is conservative or liberal. I would lean towards a bigger percentage of your audience is probably conservative, because WWE, conservative. You know, big BMF, bad mother, you know what? You are a BMF, hands down, conservative. You go to UFC, UFC is as conservative as it gets. Dana's, you know, every time pumping up Trump, right?
Yeah.
You give me the vibes of somebody that wants to be a good father, wants to be a good husband, wants to be a good son, wants to be a good citizen. I think that stuff is very important to you. I feel that. I don't know. That's the vibe I get from you, right, when I watch you. But I wonder if the thought in your mind is, that if I get into this space, the amount of, like, you have to take positions. You didn't take positions. You're like, grit, this, that. Those are nice, like, valuable, positive, listening, all that's great. But if you do run, you have to say if you're pro this or anti this. If you run, you have to be, we're doing this or we're not doing this. If you run, there's the thought of, dude, I don't want to effing mess with that at all. That's exactly why I don't ever want to get into politics. Because it's very different than Rocky sucks, Rocky sucks. Now it's like, no, Rocky is, I used to like him. He's the worst human being in the world. Do you really want to go through that? Like, does that thought in your mind, I don't ever want to touch that. Do you ever go there?
Yeah, you think about that all the time.
Yeah.
Of course. Because that kind of energy, that's a cesspool. And it's hard for people to navigate through. It's hard for us to watch it on TV. It's hard for us to absorb the news. It's hard for anybody to be in that, especially politicians or not. So you think about that, I think about it. But at the end of the day, there's two things that I'll say here. And I want to double down on it because it is the undeniable truth, which is I've got an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old, and school drop-offs and pickups are so important to me, and being daddy is important. And I also have a 22-year-old daughter. And I like to say we grew up together because I had her when I was in my late 20s, and where I was on the go, pro wrestling, wrestling 250 dates a year for years. So I missed out. 250 dates a year for years, different city every night. It was a brutal schedule. This is why we all get divorced in pro wrestling. So I missed out on a lot of her childhood. And I know what it's like to have a job that takes you away. And I do believe that president, that job will take me away. Now, I'm not saying it can't be done. Of course, there were presidents in the past who had little kids, of course. But when they're 8 and 6, and I'm the male figure that they're going to compare other men to the rest of their life, this critical time, I'm home with them. That's the most important thing. So that's one thing I wanted to say. Just to underscore that, but the part that you just brought up about that stuff that you think about, of course you think about it, because it's hard to navigate your way through it, because it's so venomous, and it's so declarative, and it's so, this is the right way, that's the wrong way, you're wrong, we're right, don't talk to us. I'm aware of it, like we're all aware of it, but it doesn't scare me, and I think that's the important thing.
Awesome.
No, it shouldn't.
That's very good to know, bro.
No, that doesn't scare me.
Respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's going to come and it'll be overnight.
Yeah.
And when it does, I'd like to see you run one day. I'd be curious to know what you're going to run on. I'd be curious to know what levels you're going to be run on. I would encourage you to run that analytics on your audience and kind of feel how they view you. I don't think it's going to be hard to do. You just got to hire a couple BI, $100,000, $200,000 a year people to do that. You probably already have that on your team. And you can kind of put that on the back of your head that if you ever go, you know, what things will that happen? Would I appreciate you taking these questions? I know it's not the most comfortable questions to take because you're still in the game. You're still in the arena. you're still kind of, doing your movies, doing your things. And again, thanks for taking these questions. Let me transition into another part here. The part that...
by the way, thank you for thanking me on that and acknowledging that. But let's underscore this, because this is the stuff that's important. If something's uncomfortable, it doesn't mean we run away from it. It means we sit here and we talk it through. Yes. Right?
My man.
Yes.
Respect.
There's one thing you're going to get from this interview with The Rock and I. We both love America. We had 2 big flags at our event. He's got a flag in his gym and everywhere he goes. This is the USA gear, limited edition for the rest of the year. If you love America, sport this USA gear. On the side it says Future Looks Bright. On the back it says Valuetainment. On the side it's got the American flag. We got the shirts. We got the flip-flops. These are the only flip-flops I wear when I'm at the house and walking the dogs. It feels amazing with the gel in it. So, if you love America, if you believe the future looks bright, if you love Valuetainment, click on the link above or below. Go wear some of the gear and tag us, because we share the pictures on the podcast all the time. So go to vtmerch.com and place your order.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.